Hey everyone, Reptile Sam here. If you like this shirt I'm wearing of my normal corn snake Tom, who is my first ever corn snake, you can get this shirt and other really cool designs on our Teespring site in our YouTube channel link and on our Instagram. So today's video, I'm going to start a series inspired by Chris Hardwick where he talks about morphs and genes. I want to do the same thing and give you my own input and advice and just thoughts. Chris will have some of the best videos out there on these topics, but I want to make my own too because it looks like a lot of fun. So we're going to start out with a series of videos with the 8-ball complex. And we're going to start today with the Black Pastel gene. So I will start a stream of my screen and we're going to talk about Black Pastel as the first gene in our series on the 8-ball complex. Okay, so here we are in Morph Market. And Morph Market is where you're going to find pretty much all the snakes available on the market. Now, I'm going to preface this video by saying if you go to a reptile show, you can probably find some better prices on some of these snakes. But if you're looking for the market value or to buy a snake, anything that you could possibly want is going to be here on Morph Market. It's the best site to purchase and to browse, and I'm on here pretty much multiple times a day just looking at what's available and what's going on in the industry. So these are the 7 genes that are part of the 8-ball complex. And I'm only going to make videos on 4 of them. The first 4 we have Black Pastel, Cinnamon, Enchi, and HRA, Red Xanthic. I'm not going to do the last 3 that are a bit less common, that not as many people work with, so we're going to do videos on these first 4. So the first one that we're going to talk about today is the Black Pastel. Now, Black Pastel is a really cool gene. It darkens the snake up a lot. This is a great example of a Black Pastel right here. And so off to the right, you can see everything that might go on with it, including a little genetic calculator down here. One thing to point out is it's possible for duckbill or kinking in the super Black Pastel. I don't think it's that common, but it is a known issue that can come up when breeding 2 Black Pastels together to get the super Black Pastel. And some of these issues are also possible when you breed a Black Pastel to a Cinnamon because they're an allelic complex, meaning that those 2 genes reside on the same allele. Now, it doesn't happen with Enchi, but it could happen with Cinnamon. So just something to keep in mind. And you can see how recently the trait was produced. So it's a relatively, not super new, but it's from 2002, and it's a pretty common trait. Now, I've got one copy of Black Pastel in my breeding program right now, and I'm excited to work with it. So if we scroll down a little bit, we can see that super Black Pastels can have kinking, which is in their spine where they won't be able to breed as adults, especially in a female, and duckbill where their face is a little bit odd. So one thing you can really see that's really cool about the Black Pastel is that they have really dark heads, but they're not black heads, like the blackhead gene would be, but they have just a little bit of puzzling up their side. So if you don't know ball pythons very well, you might see this and say that looks like a normal ball python. But let's take a look at this guy right here. See how this alien heads are a bit thrown off, especially like right up here to the top left of this snake, and right in the front on its edge. So, and it also lacks a bit of a dorsal stripe. But then we come to this one, and this one has a full dorsal stripe going down almost half of it. So this one, like most genes, are very variable genes, but the biggest thing that you're going to see with a Black Pastel is it has like a chocolatey brown head, not quite black in most cases. This is a nice picture of a really good Black Pastel right here. And the alien heads are thrown off a little bit. Now, your alien heads are the pattern that's what we refer to them as, that go down the side of the snake. So one thing we can look at is that there are a ton of combos you can make with Black Pastels. These are all combos with nicknames. Now, You can obviously make a banana black pastel or whatever you want to, but these are all pretty cool types of black pastel combos you can make. So I'm going to hop over and show you a few of these and we can chat about them. So this right here is called the 8-ball, and hence the name of the 8-ball complex. And so 8-ball is black pastel cinnamon. Now this is a bit less common. You see there's only 39 available in the US right now, and that is because they can have a failure to thrive issue. So not all of them will be like that, but some of them will. Okay, so something to keep in mind. So, but you see, once you put cinnamon into the mix with black pastel, it throws everything off. This cinnamon black pastel on the bottom right, listed at 650. This one's a lot lighter than most of the ones you'll see. So that means either the cinnamon or the black pastel parent that made this snake was a lighter version. Probably the cinnamon was a lighter color. And then this one directly above it, this 8-ball right here, is much darker, as most of these are. So these are some darker 8-balls. So they would have had some darker parents. Now, this one in the middle, that's a black pastel pewter, which has pastel in it as well. So that's not an 8-ball. So here's a really wild looking morph. There's only 2 of these in the whole US for sale right now. Actually, I was talking to Papa Royals about this guy right here. This is a super black pastel albino. Now, super black pastels, again, this guy looks like he may have a little bit of duck billing. This one too, their face is just a bit larger. So you see they have a pretty good price tag on them. Not quite in the 4 digits yet, but they're pretty expensive animals. But these are called blizzards. I've also had people call them cherry bombs, but I think cherry bomb is actually a different combo. So these are blizzard ball pythons. So this is a really cool snake that you can get right here with a black pastel. But again, remember that albino is a recessive gene, so you're going to need 2 copies of albino and 2 copies of black pastel. So you could not breed one of these to another black pastel and get the same thing because it would be a het albino and not visual albino. Okay, so this third one I want to show you guys is the Panda Pied. And Panda Pied is super black pastel pied. So just like the blizzard that we looked at, pied is a recessive trait. So remember you would need 2 copies to make one of these. And these are super rare. You have some very valuable genes in play right here. But also, again, the super black pastel, you don't have the highest hatch rates or the best likelihood of thriving animals. So that's why there's not a whole lot of them out there. But these are some very expensive snakes. I've seen some for as low as around $2,000 at reptile shows, but normally you're going to be paying a lot more than that. So this boy right here is $2,500, but most of them are a lot more than that. So great breeder, really cool looking animal. The Panda Pied, super black pastel pied, is a very cool snake, but it's one that you're not going to see very often. Okay, and this last one I want to show you is a much more common thing you can do with black pastel. I was showing you some high dollar morphs and genes. And remember, like anything you do with black pastel is going to be really cool. It's going to darken it up. It's going to throw off the pattern just a little bit and add some nice chocolate browns in there. Not to be confused with the chocolate gene, but it's just going to make your snake a lot darker, which is really neat. And one thing that's pretty cool is the black pewter. And now black pewter is just pastel black pastel. So if I take off on this left-hand column right here, if I take out black pewter, and then we just type in pastel, black pastel, whoops, not that one, we'll get the same animals. So you'll see that black pewter is simply black pastel. And now what's really cool about black pewters is there's a huge range of what they can look like. You can have a black pewter look like anything. I'd say that these ones right here from Spots and Dots Reptiles are what most black pewters will look like, these 3 in the middle. Looks like the same one from Wilbanks. And then you do get some darker and lighter ones. So like, look how dark this black pewter is right here. So that's a very low expression of the pastel gene. Pastel lightens everything up, makes it a bit more yellow. This black pastel pewter right here has a lot more yellow in it, and this one to the left is a bit lighter. So really just depending on what lines of genes you have will affect the look, even though they will still be black pastel pastels. And remember, there are still all of these different combos you can make. So as cool as a plain black pastel is, they would make an awesome pet. I think black pastel is one of the coolest looking single gene ball pythons. Maybe that in addition to banana or enchi. Um, but we're going to get to those down the line. So black pastel pinstripe's a great combination. So there's a whole bunch of cool stuff that you can do with black pastel as a hobbyist. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at the black pastel gene, our first video in the 8-ball complex series. And so our next video we do on the 8-ball complex will feature the cinnamon gene. So stay tuned. Make sure to go like and subscribe to our Instagram channel at reptile.sam. Check out our merch page to get some cool Reptile Sam swag. And follow us here on YouTube. Until next time, I'm Reptile Sam, and we'll see you guys soon.